Hello, you wonderful people, and welcome to another episode of Super-Fanta-Fi. This being a show where we talk about TV shows of the supernatural, fantasy, and/or science fictional genre. For today's episode, I'm going to talk about the latest episode of The Outpost. A lot of really interesting things went down in this episode, so let's break it down. First and foremost, immediately picking up after the previous episode, you have Garrett trying to talk Felissa down because it's like, how can you work with these people? These people murdered so many people. They even murdered your husband's father, your father-in-law. Granted, he wasn't your father-in-law at the time, but still, your post-mortem father-in-law to a certain extent. But it's like, yeah, these are the people who ruled this realm with an iron fist. Why would you, work with them? But it's, at the end of the day, it's simply because Felissa is insecure about her own powers. Because even though she's like, I'm gonna take the throne and all that, she had a lot of bark, but she doesn't have the bite necessarily to back it up. Because being queen isn't as easy as she thinks. I mean, later on, someone tries to assassinate her. It's like, right, Gwen's been in that situation multiple times. I mean, to be fair, her entire family was slaughtered. So, you grow up with that. But, Felissa kind of wasn't ready. It's like she was shaken by it. It's like, nah. Gwen had been in that situation not once, not twice. She's been through it quite a few times. So, it kind of shows you there. But it's like, Felissa's only working with them because as she says later on, she just wants to secure her power. And it's like, right, then we'll visit this conversation. She only needs 2 and 3 because by having them by her side, the Covenant soldiers are loyal to them. But it's like, Tobin's like, well, we got our own people, but it's like, no, once we get enough power, once they kind of recognize me, I think for her, it's like, we'll remove them from the equation, and then I won't have to worry about it. So it's like, for her, it's like she's thinking she's playing the long game. Long game is fine when you have the time for it, because under your rule and reign, things could easily go sideways, and obviously you have the circumstances you are. To be fair, it's a whole roundabout way that you have an assassin on your trail, but to be fair, circling back, before we even get to all that, Garrett had to be impulsive and try to kill 2 and 3. Understandably so. They're the same people that helped forge him into... I mean, he got his, technically 2 or 4-part revenge. Because he killed... I'm blanking on her name. Well, the lady who controlled him and, manipulated him, she's dead. 1 is dead. Now, killing 2 and 3 completes it. Granted, it's not going to fill the hole in him and, being, turn against the people you care about, your friends, the people you love. Also killing your own father because of that. It's like, that's never going to go away, but at the very least you can mediate that, at least get some closure in it, because knowing that those bastards are still out and about, they're fine. In fact, they're ruling, and Felissa's submitting to them, so she ends up stopping Garrett with her power, which Talon had to be like, stop, you're killing him. It's like, Felissa, I mean, we've already seen it before, but even more so with the power, she kind of doesn't have much in the department of control, even more so since getting the tinge. So, obviously, Talon's, chastising him for, yo, that was stupid because you were outnumbered, but he's like, no, we'll get allies. It's like, no. The people here, some are, loyal to Tobin. The Covenant soldiers are loyal to the 3. We have maybe, some farmers and, 20 or so of the guards from the Outpost. There's literally no one else to turn to under these circumstances. It's like, I guess they could, the Black Bloods, but it's like, right, it's kind of a self-preservation thing. There's probably not that well-versed of an army of Black Bloods left, so that's probably what that'll come down to as well, so... We don't have many people we can actually turn to under these circumstances. Felissa's kind of got all the power, interestingly enough. But circling back to the Tobin thing, I thought it was interesting because I thought he was going to be under control, but he's not. He was brought back to life, and I'm like, oh, you're really... he's not okay with it, but he's just kind of you're a lot more okay with it than I thought you would be. The whole, oh, she sacrificed... He even brings up, oh, you sacrificed 20 of my men. It's like, oh, that's what they would do. He's like, I don't think so. You're too cavalier about this. She sacrificed 20 people's lives. Would it make you... I mean, maybe you have more of an issue if it was, 20 quote-unquote important people. It's like, oh, if it was Garrett, Janzo, and Talon, it'd be a different story. But there were 20 nobodies. It's like, they were my men, so... I don't know, you get into a slippery slope. I'm not saying that they didn't matter. To Felissa, they didn't matter, because it's like, right, there are 20 men that were going to give their life for you anyway, but it's like, not under those circumstances. Also, she wants to make out and everything. He's like, no, it's weird. This is in Gwen's bed, and it's this Rosamund's room in her bed, and she's like, oh, you don't love me. He's like, of course I love you. It's just, he's like, I feel like I'm being haunted, Rosamund's watching or something. It's like, it is a mad disrespectful, like the woman he was in love with before and you're his wife and he obviously loves you, but it is kind of weird to bang it out in his ex's like room, and that's kind of next level disrespectful. To be fair, Felicity's been on her anti-Rosamund run already, so it don't matter. Like, what's one more thing after all the shade she's thrown towards Rosamund's good name? So there's that whole thing. So, at the same time, there's the Dragonman's sister getting caught cheating, not liking being called girly. Janzo told her, like, nah, like, you know, it's like, oh, what have you been accused of cheating? He's like, I didn't say that. And Munt's like, no, you did. You said exactly that she was cheating behind the bar. Munt, shut up. But then she gets dragged away. The Prime Order, which I don't get the whole... I mean, I guess it's like that holier than thou, like, I think it's that very, like, church level element of, like, because, like, they're super anti-booze. I'm like, I don't get why that is. It's the medieval times in this world. I'm like, that seems like the perfect time to, like, that's kind of everyone's favorite pastime is getting drunk. Like, why is that? Why do you have to poo-poo on everybody's fun? But I guess it's being drunk, because the Prime Order has always had that since the beginning of the series. They've been like anti, but like I said, it's like it's the rules of the gods, because I guess it's like, right, your connection to the gods is like I said, it's almost like a religious thing of like you're corrupting your mind by like sipping on kind of like the devil's juice, I guess, or something. I don't know. It's just so weird that they're so anti, to the point it's like, oh, we're shutting down the shade and also we're making sure to destroy all this alcohol. It's like, that's pretty... I mean, to be fair, for Janzo, it's like, right, you know, I mean, for one, it's like, right, it's not like I'm doing something super illegal like my mom's Calypso business that she was running. It's like, I'm kind of running a legitimate business. You guys are just freaking weird about, like, being anti-alcohol, so... There's all of that. The Dragonman's sister gets arrested, gets put in a cell next to... Garrett, which he's like, oh, you remind me of someone. She's like, oh, okay, here we go. Have we met someone before? Are you trying to get with me or something? He's like, what? No. What are you, like 14? She's like, no, I'm 18. At least I think I am. It's like, okay, no definitive birthday, so I guess it's hard to know, like, maybe that's just everyone at that monastery to becoming dragmans. Maybe everyone that had the potential, like, maybe they're kids that were, like, lost and had no family. I wonder, like, is her sister actually her biological, like, was the dragman her actual sister, or is it like, no, we grew up at the monastery together and we were like siblings? Maybe they were actually blood sisters, but... It's like, you remind me of Talon. It's like, oh, you know Talon, what are you, your boyfriend or something? He's like, oh, yeah. I'm like, I think that's the first time that's actually been legitimately their relationship. I could be mistaken. Maybe last season they defined it. I don't know if they've ever used the term boyfriend and girlfriend. It's like, oh, is she your girlfriend? He's like, oh yeah. You know, I don't think that word's been uttered between them. I'm like, they've never really done, oh, we're together. They've just never defined their relationship. It's just super cute. Him kind of getting like that. Like, almost like, yeah, she is. And it's like, well, sure, she could do so much better than you. He's like, honestly, you're right. She could. Obviously, Tobin tries to come to him and say, hey, give your loyalty to us. He's like, no, Tobin, I trust you. I just don't trust Felista because she's so willing to bend over backwards for the three. He's like, no, it's not them. Like, you're trusting me. It's like, I have no problem trusting you. I just can't trust Felista because, like, those people are just going to use her. And it's like, look at what she's done. She shut down the Nightshade. I'm surprised they haven't convinced her to execute me. And Tobin's super quiet. It's like, oh, he's like, they already tried to do that. He's like, yeah, but Felista was against it. To be fair, you had to be the one to voice your opinion about the whole, hey, don't kill Garrett thing. You're the one, I mean, to be fair, you also spun it in a way to make her feel like, no, you're right, because you had to spin it to be like, yo, like, if you do that, you'll make him a martyr, and that make people rise up against you even more. Then Felista agreed. Granted, would she have come to that herself? We don't know. The fact is that you even had to immediately jump in there to add that kind of makes you even think that she wouldn't have kind of been super copacetic. I mean, because she's even saying, like, Garrett will stay locked up for now. Like, meaning she'd, I guess, eventually let him go, but until she came to a clearer decision on her own about what to do. But it's like, regardless of what he says, Tobin doesn't, he kind of agrees with Garrett, but he wants to, he's like, Felista's his wife, and it's just like, right, just believe in, just trusting her. You're not submitting to them, but it's like, if Felista is getting counsel from them, then that means she's listening, and I refuse to ever bow down to those people. It's like, those people killed your father, Tobin. He's like, goodbye. And as he's leaving, Garrett's like, they made me kill mine. And then, like, the Dragonman's sister's being like, you're stupid for that. You're an idiot. why just lie? But for him, it's like, I'm not going to do that. Like, I will never false. Understandably so, having been mind controlled and manipulated into serving them, even if it's under false pretenses, considering all he had to do under their control, attempt to kill his friends, attempt to kill the woman he loves in multiple regards, whether it be Rosamund or Talon. But also killing his own father. Like, of course, after something like that, you're never going to, no, I'm not even going to ever pretend to serve them. I will never utter those words because I have my standards, I have my loyalties, and my loyalty, he's a knight. My word is my bond. And if I give my word to someone, I'm not going to break it. I never want to give a falsity, because if I do then it kind of undermines any time I ever give my word to someone else. Once again, it's kind of an honor system as a knight, I think. But also, once again, what they've taken from him, it's like, I will never even just pretend to serve them. Like, that would kill me on the inside to even do that. So, but obviously, to get out, the Dragonman's sister's like, oh yeah, I'm a poor innocent girl. And it's like, all right, you can go see what you, now I'm gonna go do what, Talon wants Felissa removed, right? So I'm gonna pay back my debt. He's like, don't do anything stupid. I was like, no, you had to open your mouth, Garrett. Now she's gonna try and kill Felissa, which she bumbled at heavily. It's like, I mean, to be fair, you didn't kill Talon. I'm pointing out again, you didn't kill Talon even when she was drunk. That speaks volume. Granted, yes, you almost did, but still, it's like, if you couldn't beat her drunk, and obviously she got caught off guard because Felissa flipped around at the wrong time, but it's like, if you were a real good assassin, you would plan things out a little bit better, like, wait for the perfect opportunity. And it's like, well, didn't realize also that Tobin would be there, so she walked away with the knife wound, so that sucks. Then Tobin's saying, like, yo, we need to not, let me do some investigating on my own, as Felissa's kind of freaking out about a potential assassin. The 2 and 3 are suggesting, why don't we, go searching wide? Why don't we kind of put out an order and stuff like that? So they're kind of making it all in one as they're looking for the Dragonman's sister. So there's that. There's the whole thing between Genzo and Zed, where it's just kind of like, Zed, I'm like, oh, you're such a dick, Zed, because he's having too much fun messing with Genzo. It's like, oh, well, oh my god, her ears are white. Oh my god, oh that's a terrible, that's a very bad condition. It's something serious. He's like, what is it? And it's like, is it contagious? Is it? No, not really, but it is going to come affect you in a few months or something like that. It's like, well, if you really want to know, you have to ask Ren. So Ren's kind of unfortunately forced to tell him the truth. It's like, I'm pregnant. He's like, what? She's like, yes, you're going to be a father. And he faints. But then he gets so excited about the scientist in his brain almost being like, oh my god, our baby. Like, is it going to have red blood? Is it going to have black blood? If it has black blood, it means it's going to heal faster. Oh, do you think it's going to have pointy ears? He's thinking about that. It's like, oh my god, it's like my baby. I mean, our baby. It's going to be something no one's ever seen before. Half black blood, half human. Like, this is going to be amazing. And she's like, oh, you're happy? He's like, no, I'll get to be a father. For him, it's like, I never had a father, so it's going to be a bit of a learning curve, but he's so excited about it. He's like, oh, you're going to be like the most amazing mother in the world. I mean, for one, I think for Ren, all she has to do to not be an amazing mom, is, in her mind is probably, well, all I have to do is just not be my mom, so there's that. But I think also for Janzo, he doesn't have the most best track record with mothers either, so it's like, yeah, my mom had her ups and downs, so, but, and for Ren, she doesn't want to tell people she's pregnant because, I don't want people to look at me like I'm fragile or something. But Janzo being so cute is like, I'll look at you like you're a fragile egg and kiss her on the nose. I'm like, you do it. It's so disgustingly adorable. It's just one of those things of oh, you make me sick how cute and adorable you guys are. They make such a cute couple. It's so amazing. So I love that whole bit. And even later on, kind of letting it slip around where Lita and Mutt's like, oh my god, he's getting so excited. Because I love the whole thing of because Mutt was like, oh, did you buy a child? And he was like, no, who do you take me for, mother? And he looks at a picture of Eleanor, sorry. And he was like, fine. And it's like, oh my god, I'm going to be an uncle. He's grabbing where Lita and Janza. And it's like, oh, we're going to be a big happy family. It's going to be dope. They did have a previous sibling that did get whacked. Wasn't that back? Yeah, that was back in season 2. He was their sibling for a little while, but nevertheless, it's like, our family gets obviously, well, they lost that temporary brother that they had, and then they lost their mom. But now it's like, there's more life brought into this family. Oh my God, I'm going to be an uncle. That's amazing. That's going to be awesome. But it's like, right, we're going to keep this hush hush. Or Lita's being called to, like, give, I love it. It's like, you're being called to Felista for what? And even the Prime Order soldier, like, to give the queen a bath. It's just kind of like, I can't believe we're just messengers for you to come bathe the queen. Which is kind of very demoralizing in both for them and Warlita, but it is what it is, I guess. But it's like, I guess, like, she needed help because I guess she needed a back. I think at that time, the Dragonman sister had already tried to kill her, so, like, she's probably freaking out. It's like, right, I need to be washed to calm down. At the same time, there's a whole situation with Talon and Zed following the Lakiri, and the Lakiri are out just, like, straight up murdering folk. And not listening, and even to the point Zed had to use his Kinge, which I was like, okay, good, because that was the bubbling question I had immediately at the beginning episode. So we know how it feels about the ones inside of Felista 2 and 3. It's all in good terms with them. Obviously, the one inside of Talon is known as the Betrayer, and then the one inside of that one in particular, because it's interesting that she's the only one that's talking. They're not interacting with the other one. I don't know whether she's the one that has, like, because I'm trying to figure out whether she was the white Kinge or the black Kinge. I don't remember. I think she is the white Kinge one, so that would make sense because that's the one that has the hive mind. So maybe that's why she's able to communicate. So she has to be the white Kinge in that regard. So I was about to say we haven't seen, like, the other one talk at all, but it's like, right, she's the only one that has, like, that hive mind connection because that's what the white Kinge does. But she's able to. I wonder, does that ability still exist, or is it more so like the hive mind isn't meant to be used the way it is? It's meant to be a hive mind connecting all the Kinges together. She's kind of meant to be like the psychic connection, the psychic link to all of them. But it seems like she's on good terms with the one inside of Zed too. Almost make it sound like, at first I was like, I don't know whether it's like a sibling thing or whether it's we'll be reunited. It sounded almost like a lover's thing, but maybe it's a siblings thing. We have no idea, like, the correlation between, like, all of them. Are they all, like, children? Are they, like, are some of them, like, significant others? Or, like, how that whole thing works. So it seems like amongst the five of them are good, and then, like, the one inside of Talon is the oddball out. Once again, Betrayer, maybe it has something to do with why, like, I don't know, the one inside of her must have turned against the rest. I wonder, is that also why, like, the Lakiri didn't just straight up kill them, because it's like, right, you're the host, so we can't kill you. We got orders to leave you alive and not hurt you. I don't think it's a loyalty to Black Bloods. I think it's specifically because they had Kinges. You would think that'd kind of be what you'd want, but once again, why, the biggest question is why the white and black Kinge worked the way they did. Maybe because the Kinges have to be used in conjunction, like, with each other to, like, find a way back to their OG bodies. Maybe the other 4 Kinges don't have their OG bodies anymore, so maybe that's what it is. I don't know. Because, like I said, like, all the times, like, once again, the only one that's been active has been the red Kinge, and it's never gone back to its OG body, so I don't know. Maybe we'll finally, I brought that up last episode, but maybe we'll get some answers to that in the future. But the Lakiri managed to get away, so it's like, right, now Talon and Zed realize, like, wait, we've had the same vision about these creatures. It's like, they're not Black Bloods, but their ears are pointy, but not like ours. Like, what is that? Well, we'll have to find out. Let's go back and ask Rin. Rin obviously is like, I have no idea what that is. Why the Lakiri are not listening to you either. It's like, right, just because my mom died doesn't mean I immediately gain all that knowledge. And I love Zed's kind of, he's like, okay, to avoid you jumping down my throat, But it's like, right, it's like she has no idea what that's all about. And it's like, right, they've both seen the same vision. She has no clue what it all means. Probably has to look into her mom's notes, which once again are in the Plains of Ash. Which, you have Zed trying to convince Talon once again to bring them over. It's like, well, Yavala's not alive anymore, so you won't have that same repeat issue as last time. But also, it's like, right, there's already too much going on. We add in more Black Bloods. That's just going to destabilize and make the situation worse. Granted, that would give them the support they need to kind of overthrow Felista in the 3. So there's that. So that probably is going to come into play. Because it's probably going to become a necessity thing. I also love the whole thing of, like, Zed being like, yeah, you always end up doing the right thing. And she's like, are you flirting with me? He's like, what? No, I'm just trying to explain to you why you should be the leader of the realm. And she's kind of like, oh, okay. So we'll see. Obviously, like, Janzo now knows, and, like, the way the conversation goes, like, you can tell Zed now knows that he knows, and then she's kind of smirking a little bit. I'm like, oh, you're such a bastard, Zed. But, they end up finding the Dragman's sister and kind of patching her up and even hiding her as the Prime Order soldiers are looking for her, terrorizing people in town just to find her. So gonna have to keep her hidden because currently Talon's the only one that knows she's the Dragman's sister. So it kind of, whether she's like a Dragman herself, because I guess because her sister became one, like, I guess it was only supposed to be one at a time, so I wonder, has there not been a replacement for her? Or maybe because she did what she's supposed to do, like, there's no further need for a Dragman currently? I don't know how that whole thing works. They haven't really gone into that too much. But, which one is it? I want to say the lady is 2 and the dude is 3. I always forget what their numbers. I think that's the case. I believe 3's the one that was kind of like all about, no, let's execute. Well, they both were like, oh, we need to execute Garrett, which even Tobin's like, no, and even Felicity's like, no, we don't have to go that far. But it's like, right, if you're not going to listen, then I'm going to do it myself, because he's like, I'm the king, and it's like meaningless. And then Felicity's like, no, like, don't do that. And he's like, well, you're being weak. If you're not going to do it, I'm going to give the order. I'm like, why? Like, you need her on your side. Wouldn't it be, I guess he got tired of trying to appease her so much. So it's like, screw that. I'm going to do what I want. Like, you're so pathetic, child. Oh, you think you can hurt me with your kinge? It doesn't work. Your kinge doesn't work against our situation. So, which I think this is isn't this the first time we've ever fully seen what his kinge does? Like, he's disappeared before, but I never realized it was like a teleportation. Like, I feel like this episode's the first episode to really showcase that. Maybe there was, like I said, he's vanished before, but I think this is the first episode to really showcase that it's like a teleportation thing. And he steps to Felista, and Tobin kills him. I'm like, okay, Tobin's got a kinge now. Okay, cool. Now we're the 3. And, like, the other 2, she's like, all like, no, that's cool. That's cool with me. Like, oh, we'll work together. I'll serve you. It's like, oh, it's self-preservation, because it's like, oh, cool. He's, it's like, once again, it's not like you guys are special. Like, caught off guard, you can get got like anybody else. The only ones who have advantage are, like, the red kinge. Zed's has its limitation if it can only work on one person at a time. And then Talon's, well, she can open up a portal and probably kick you through. But still, like, the only one that's very offensive is, like, Felista. She's the only one that has a more offensive kinge amongst all of them. Well, the black kinge was pure... no, because the black kinge is pure death. Well, we'll say currently. Once again, that begs the question, like, if you run into that quote-unquote god, is he going to be, like, able to just touch it and kill everything and everyone? It makes you wonder how much of that power still resonates. Maybe now that it's folded into their, quote, maybe their original forms, maybe the power isn't as exuberant as it is when it's inside of a black blood or a human. Something other than what they are. We'll have to wait and see. But Garrett kind of got what he wanted at the end. It's like, right, cool, 1 down, 1 to go. Granted, this also adds the issue of you guys have just stepped into the roles of 1 and 2. 1 and 3, so that's not good. But hey, one of the bastards that controlled me to kill my dad and turn against my friend, he's dead, so just 1 more to go. So there's some silver lining to it, but it's like, even Tobin's kind of not too excited about, oh, cool, now I've become 1 and 3. That's not what I wanted. That's going to complicate things. So we'll see. The power, he is kind of like an actual power at the table now. So it's like, oh, we are the 3. It's like, at some point, 3, once again, I think she's 2. She's going to get it. At one point in time, she's going to get it, and I'm curious who's going to get the kinge. I was like, because part of me thinks, like, you think Ren's going to get it, or Janza, I don't see that. Like, but I was like, well, not unless it ends up being Garrett. I don't know. I don't think she's going to walk away from this season alive. I think she's going to get got at some point in time. Not unless it ends up being the Dragon's sister or something that ends up getting it. I don't know. Which that's definitely going to be an interesting thing when it gets found out, like, oh, she tried to kill Felista. Well, Talon knows, and I'm assuming now Zed and Janzo know. But eventually that conversation is going to be like, oh, she tried to kill me. And Talon's probably going to have to defend her from Felista and Tobin and like, it's going to be a whole thing. So it's definitely going to be interesting to see where next episode takes us going forward with all of this. But really, that's all I wanted to talk about. Until next time we meet, be happy, be safe, live life to the fullest, and enjoy it. Good day and good